Uh,
What's up and welcome back to the Scuffed Ass Podcast for episode number 234. Wonder's kind of here, though he looks like he's been hit by a truck because he just spent 30 plus hours fighting a fire that tried to take my house for some reason. I blame Wonder. He directed it towards my house and then told me to leave.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish I would have caught that one edge, though. Not of the house, but of the property. They could have had that part. So that would have been terrifying, because over there's where that gas line is.
Right.
The, like, outbuilding for that. That could have been really bad.
Yeah, most definitely could have been bad.
But yeah, there was big fire. So we're recording this episode way earlier than normal.
Yeah.
Last week's episode came out on the day we're recording this, but talk about the fire while we have brains.
Yeah.
A few more days we might forget everything that happened.
Yeah, maybe. Might die between now and then.
Yeah, apparently this dude inhaled too much smoke, so now he, like, can't live. So,
I'm surviving, man.
there was a bunch of stories Wonder wanted to tell on stream last night that I didn't let him so we could record.
Yeah.
Starting with, though, before we get into the fire, how's the PlayStation 5 treating you?
Oh, pretty good. It's nice to just be able to transfer all of my games I already have onto it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it.
That's
I'm
good.
currently playing. I'm trying to practice for our league or whatever.
College
for
football.
AA.
Yeah, you got to crank that up to Heisman difficulty and get to playing. Get used to the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
Interestingly, real quick, Wonder low-key looks like a younger Daryl Dixon.
I have no idea who that is.
Look up Norman Reedus. Do you remember Boondock Saints? Did you ever watch Boondock Saints with me?
I don't know.
We haven't watched that many old movies like that. Normally we just go see shit in theaters, so I don't know if you ever did.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But yeah, look up Norman Reedus. Wonder kind of acts like Norman Reedus. Well, Daryl, I should say. He's the huntery one. He'd stab a bitch. He doesn't use a crossbow.
I have a couple of them.
I have a couple of them. Fucking guy. Crossbow, great weapon in a zombie apocalypse. Fairly silent, you see.
This guy low-key looks like he's kind of on drugs.
Well, I mean, Wonder, have you looked in your camera yet?
All I see is a little lens.
You know what I meant, jackass. God, some people's kids. Yeah, you deserve that one. But yeah, so yeah, Wonder decided to go and try to fist fight this fire. Though I made this joke last night. Maybe this is your fault. Because y'all fought this fire on Monday and then quit and went home.
So this technically was on Sunday, but
I thought it was Monday and then Tuesday it kicked up again.
Nope. It started on Sunday.
Well, yeah.
I was on the initial response, but there was nothing we could do because it was on top of this 1,500-foot mountain with nothing but boulders and shit. So all we could really do was sit there and babysit it and watch the air support knock it down. And then once the air support got knocked down, got it knocked down, we had 20 BLM guys and 20 guys out of Pennsylvania, which were hand crews or whatever, climbed up there and supposedly put this fire out. Which I'm not going to fault them too much because with all the boulders and stuff, the way it is, there's a lot of pine needles and vegetation and old leaves and stuff that get packed up against the boulders and underneath of them. So
yeah,
it's really hard to put out the hot spots and stuff and catch all the hot spots.
Yeah.
But it stayed it stayed out for 2 days,
Couple
and then
hours.
we got another call sending us back to the mountain. The same fire. They said the same fire stoked up, and then on our way out there, another fire popped off a little bit to our west, and we had no air support this time, so there's nothing we could do. All we could do was just sit there and watch this fire get bigger and bigger up on the mountain. So, um, luckily, we had, you know, a dozer line that went. But the problem was, is it would have been effective, but we couldn't get all the way around the mountain because it kind of connects to another mountain range. And so on the one side that there's no dozer line, and so the fire just kind of crept down the other side of the mountain range, and nothing we could do. And plus, we couldn't even stay and watch that fire um, because the other fire jumped the highway to the west of us and was headed right at us. And there was only really one road in and out of there, so we didn't want to get trapped.
Right.
And so we backed out of there one time, and the crews that were working to the west of us got the fire put out on our side of that highway. So we thought it was going to be safe again. So it's like, but we didn't have much for resources really, because we had our truck, we had a tender which couldn't get all the way in there because of the rough road, and then we had two big quick attack trucks, and I think we had 4 or 5 smaller quick attack trucks. But we were going to get a hand line. Well, we were going to burn off of the dozer line. We were going to get a drip torch and start burning, and just do little strip burns to get a better fire barrier. And before we were able to do that, the wind kicked up big time, and me and my assistant chief, which was the incident command for this fire, because our actual chief was stuck in the tender on the other fire.
Yeah.
And so we were sitting on the south side, and we actually had Cody, another guy named Steve, on the north side of the mountain, babysitting it, just because we didn't know what the fire was going to do once it got on the other side of the mountain.
Right.
We had them go to the other side, and then we had some other guys that were over there with them too. And every 30 minutes, we had them call in and give us a status of the fire. And before the wind kicked up, they'd come back on the radio and they'd say, well, it's kind of just slowly burning. You know, fire doesn't burn downhill very well unless you have a really strong downdraft. So it kind of was just moving real slow, and they're like, it's just moving real slow, not really going anywhere. And then right after that, the wind kicked up to about 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I was watching the ridge line, and my assistant chief was driving the truck, and I was sitting in the passenger seat. He's sitting there talking to different some firefighters from a different fire department.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just talking, and I just kind of sitting there, and I was like, man, that fire is really starting to move along that ridge line. And which the wind was coming out of kind of straight out of the west, kind of southwest, and it was pushing it down this ridge line. And Cody and Steve were kind of back in a bowl, and I started to think, well, if that fire comes down off that ridge and gets into the grassland, it's going to cut their escape route off, and they won't be able to get out. And so I kind of poked my assistant chief on the shoulder, and I was like, hey, that fire is moving along the ridge line pretty quickly. Maybe we ought to have Cody and Steve come back to the south side so they don't get trapped back there. And he kind of like looked at it, and he finished his conversation real fast. He looked at it again, and then he gets on the radio and he says, all units on the north side of the mountain, please make your way back to the south side. The fire is moving its way across the ridge line, and we don't want you to get cut off and trapped in the back there in that bowl. And so they come back around, and it's a good thing we did that, because it wasn't a couple minutes after they got back to the south side that fire jumped down to the grass, and it would have cut them off, and they wouldn't have had a way. Now they could have maybe been able to drive through on the dozer line, but driving through fire is not very fun.
No, not from what I've heard. No.
Yeah. So, but it was a good thing we had them come to the south side anyway, because then we got, so we actually had the state's, fire warden or whatever. His name's Tom.
Yeah.
He was hanging out with us, but he was kind of back and sitting up on a high point, and he radios us and he says, "Hey, I just got word that fire to the west of us has jumped the highway again, and it's in a place they can't get to. So they're saying that we might want to think about evacuating again." And so we're like, all right. So we kind of told everybody, got on the radio, all units on this mountain. We need to evacuate because this bigger fire to the west of us is going to be in our back pocket before long. And so everybody was evacuating. When on our way out, we were driving past a couple of, it's really hard to explain things when you can't say names, but
yeah,
there was a couple of other trucks from the quick attack trucks from different fire department.
Yeah.
That were kind of still sitting there, and I was like, man, did they get the memo of what's going on, And my assistant chief was like, I don't know. So he radioed again, but he knew their call sign and stuff. And the one truck radioed us back and said, he's like, did you catch any of that radio traffic? And they were like, no. We're like, we need to get out of here. So then they're like, okay. So they started heading out, and then I looked at the other truck. Well, both of those guys were out of the truck, and neither of them had a radio on them. And I was like, I don't think those guys heard us either. And they were putting out fire,
Yeah.
I was like, we better probably go up there and let them know that we need to get the hell out of here, And so we drive up there. We're kind of, there was kind of this like grassy, where it was pretty smooth. You could drive part of the way up the mountain.
Yeah.
And that's where they were kind of just fighting. They were just putting out fire that was kind of slowly creeping down the grass, And we got up there and we're like, hey, guys, we need to get the hell out of here. We need to evacuate. That other fire is coming at us, And so I helped them get their hose reeled back up. And my assistant chief, while we were doing that, kind of walked up the hill a little bit, and he looked over the edge. And pretty soon, here he comes running back down the hill. He's like, we need to get the hell out of here. That fire's on top of us already. And I was like, what? And I looked, and you could just see the smoke was just starting to dark out the sun, And I was like, shit, man. I mean, because it was, when it first jumped the highway's probably 5 miles from us,
Yeah.
But the wind it had kicked up quite a bit, and it was just traveling about as fast as the wind was traveling. So it didn't take long, and it was pretty much on top of us. And we didn't get out of there when we did. We'd have been stuck. We'd have been cut off, and we'd have been stuck between two fires and nowhere to go. And so we had to drive in between. There was flames creeping up on both sides of the road pretty much, and we just kind of made our way out of there. Luckily, we were kind of the last unit. And then we set up a staging area to come up with a better attack plan. And while we were there, our sheriff, our sheriff, county sheriff, showed up with pizzas for us while we came up with a plan on what to do. We were kind of just sitting off the highway, not too far, just watching the two fires converge, and then it really exploded. When the fires converged, it hit the hillside, and it just kind of went up the hillside, just 50-foot flames, and went up and over the hill, and was headed more towards town and stuff. So we sent one of our units around to the other side. You take, our town that we live in, if you take that road out north.
Yep.
Um, it gets, you can get to the east side of those mountains basically. And so we sent them to monitor and tell us what was going on while we came up with a game plan. And there's probably us and about 28, 29 trucks. And our Wyoming command guy, basically, he basically, anytime there's a big fire, he shows up and he takes over the situation until, if the fire ends up going to federal, he turns it over to the federal units and stuff. But until then, he's in charge. And so he was basically trying to get people organized and stuff. And I had a couple of farmers that had called me, and they asked, they said, hey, if you guys need a tractor with the disc on it, I could maybe get you a tractor with a disc for a fire line or something. And like, I don't know, I'll talk to the IC and see what he thinks. So I got off the phone with him and went to the IC, and I was like, hey, I got some farmers that are willing to come out here with their tractors and big discs and help us with fire lines out in the grasslands on the east side of the mountains. I said, I don't know if you're interested or not. And he goes, well, how fast can they get here? And I was like, well, how fast do you want them? Do you want them here tonight? And he says, yeah, if they could get here tonight, that'd be awesome, So I called him back and I said, yeah, if you can spare a couple tractors and discs and get them here, we could really use help with getting a fire line, because tractors are not, we have dozers, which are nice, but dozers only go like 5 miles an hour. They're real slow. So it takes them a long time to get a fire line put in. With tractors, they can haul ass with a disc at, 10 to 14 miles an hour. And, they're a lot faster and a little more efficient and stuff. And within a couple hours, we had those 2 big tractors and discs on scene, and that we had them coordinating. I gave them a couple radios and had them coordinating with the dozers, basically, so they would go through and make a good fire line, and then the dozer would come through and clear the vegetation, basically, so there's no way that the fire could creep across. And that actually turned out pretty good, because overnight it pretty much stopped the fire on the east side completely. But that was late evening. And then we started getting reports that the fire had shifted to the south and was headed back towards the highway that goes to our town.
Shifted towards me.
Yep. Shifted towards the geek's house. And there's some houses that are just off the north side of that highway, just outside of town, that one of the guys called my assistant chief and was like, hey, this fire is only about a quarter mile from our house, headed right at us. Is there any help coming? Well, we didn't know the fire had shifted south like that. So we hauled ass back to town and gathered up as many resources as we could, and sent them for structure protection. And then pretty soon it was just all hell pretty much broke loose. There was just fire everywhere. Ash started raining down on the town. We were driving down the highway, and there was just flames rolling over the highway, but it hadn't jumped yet, and we were kind of going back and forth trying to make sure that the flames didn't jump the highway, putting out fire on the edge as best we could. And that's when I texted you the first time and said, hey, letting you know that this thing jumps the highway. You might want to get the figgity fuck out of there.
Yeah.
It didn't take very long, and it jumped the highway, and that's when I shot you a text message as soon as I seen it jump the highway.
Yeah,
I was like, dude.
It wasn't even 10 minutes, because I had went outside and was watching all of the ash fall, and the smoke was so thick here. I couldn't see town from my house, which isn't very normal. I live outside of town about 2 miles, but normally I can see the lights of town. Couldn't see the lights of town or the like little train yard thing. I was like, oh, that's not good. Ash was coming down. I was like, man, it looks like a volcano erupted. This is
It really
wild.
does.
Came inside, like, told people, like, hey, maybe just get a bag ready in case we gotta go or whatever. Came, sat back down. Miller and Jedi were talking on stream, a little concerned about, like, they were looking it up. They're like, it says you can't outrun a wildfire, so I don't know why he's still there. And I sat down, they were talking about it, and I'm like, well, because right now, like, it's not really headed here. It's not that big of a deal. Wonder's going to let me know. And when Wonder lets me know, I'll go. I'm not going to just, end my stream and sit here and be worried about a fire. I'll stay on stream until the absolute moment when it's like, okay, you need to go. And as I was saying, as soon as Wonder tells me to leave, you fucking dumbass, I'll leave. And I, like, took a sip of my coffee, looked down and went, oh, fuck, never mind. I guess I'm leaving. Bye. Immediately, it's like, well, that timing's impeccable.
Yeah. Did you ever release that video?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
But I will by the time this episode's out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fucking wild. Just, it was apocalyptic, really. Like, it was just fucking smoke, flames everywhere. You went down that highway, and I was sitting in the passenger seat of our truck, and I had the water nozzle, basically, just kind of fished it around through the window, and I was just sitting in the passenger seat. And as we go down the highway, I just turned the thing on full blast and just kind of turned my head, and the flames were just like, it was so hot. You can just feel my whole arm was hot, face was hot. And, but yeah, it was bubbling the paint on the side of the truck. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's not good.
But yeah, we were pretty much down to, we had the whole town was on red alert. And we had a bunch about the time when we sent out a emergency distress signal to neighboring states to anybody that wanted to send a few trucks. We'd take anything anybody wanted to send us, not too long after the flames had jumped the highway, we started getting, a bunch of structure trucks, a bunch of big quick attack trucks. And so then we started coming up with a plan that if this fire jumps the canal, then we have to evacuate the town because there's nothing that stops it from there. There's basically, and my parents' place is just right on the other side of the canal. So
yeah,
we had a bunch of people that were on the radio that were like, we need a staging area. Where's a good place to stage? We need to get our trucks. We have a couple of trucks and structure trucks and some quick attack trucks that we need an area we can kind of stage and get things organized. And I got on the radio. I was like, I got a perfect place for you. About a mile outside of town, off the north side of the highway, there's some big cottonwood trees. There's a big driveway. Go and park in that driveway. That's a good place for you to stage.
Bro just sent him to his own house like a little dick.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible.
Well, I mean, honestly, strategically.
No, I mean, it's a good spot, and you have a big enough, yard and field there that, like, enough trucks could get in there. Yeah, like, I get it. But it's also just like, wow, dude.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I had some people sitting there, and basically we started, we kind of had we started getting all the trucks lined up on the Canal Road on the opposite side. And as that fire kind of came and met the canal, everybody just had their hoses going full blast and was just spraying, trying to keep the ashes from floating to the other side and kicking up a fire on, the other side of the canal. And it worked. We got it stopped at the canal. The fire kind of burns to the south of the highway quite a ways in several different places, but some places it would get stopped at the railroad tracks, and other places it jumped the railroad tracks. But there's also a river, in between your house and the fire. So I wasn't sure if it would be able to jump the river, but I wasn't willing to take the chance. I wanted to give you enough time to.
Because the highway and the canal are both just as wide as the river.
Yep.
Not in every spot, obviously, but like just in general, It's like if it's jumping either one of those, yeah, it'll jump the fucking river.
Yeah,
now,
well, the worst
you
part
guys
about
could
the
make
river,
a stand at one spot, but my other thought was if you guys failed at the canal and it jumped the canal, it's jumping the river without a goddamn problem.
Well, see, about the river's a little wider than the canal, but you also have big cottonwood trees all along the river.
Yep.
And it'll go up those cottonwood trees, and then the wind will push it across.
Yep.
Yep. That's the worst
also
part.
all it takes, because it was so windy, is just one ember to just make it across. And with how dry everything is right now, it'll just light up. And then you're fighting 3 fires.
Yeah, I mean that was the worst part. We had, about, I think they said 98 crews.
Yeah.
On this fire, but this fire was it's 15 miles long and 6 to 8 miles wide, and you just got people going everywhere. You just got emergency units going this way, that way. It's hard to get coordinated when there's just so much chaos going in so many different places. And so I don't know. We fought fire for a really, really long time before we were able to stop and take a deep breath and gather ourselves. It was just like, you're going over here, and then you go over there, and then you go over here, and then you're over here, and then people are screaming on the radio for help, and there's people trapped over here, there's houses over here. It's just it's really like nerve-wracking when you hear sheer panic on the radio, because these guys are all volunteer mostly, but for the most part these guys have been doing it for a long time, the majority of them, and they don't panic. That's one thing they teach you in when you get your red card and stuff like that. They always tell you, no matter how crazy things are, just don't panic, because panicking isn't making the situation any better. But there was this fire, there was people on the radio just you could hear the panic in their voice.
Yeah.
And that there was people like yelling at from one department to another, that were like, they get on the radio, they'd say, engine 6, you need to get the hell out of there, that fire's right on your back. And it was just a complete chaos. And I don't think hopefully in my lifetime I will never see something like this again. This is the biggest fire, I think, to ever hit this area.
Is it bigger than the one from the lake like 10 years ago? I genuinely don't know. Okay.
Yes. The worst part about the lake one is there was a lot of trees.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of structures. That was why it's double the size of the lake.
Gotcha.
That one was pretty big. I'm not saying it wasn't big, but this one, it just the sheer
more expansive
size of it in a short amount of time is just astronomical. Usually it takes days for a fire to get this big.
Right.
But it just, honestly, our whole northern jurisdiction, we pretty much don't have to worry about there being another fire, because it's all burned. It's all gone.
Pretty much.
There's nothing left to burn. Yeah. That last time I heard, it's right around.
I mean, it was
28,000
28,000 yesterday, so I'd assume.
Yeah, and it's still burning, and it's.
I was gonna say this morning I saw a post that said it was still 0% contained. So.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Were you in any of those
luckily,
pictures? I don't think so. The fire department posted pictures of
our
our town's crew finally getting back into town last night after fighting for 30 plus hours.
Yeah, no sleep for 30 plus hours. Yeah, that was just I'm still exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I didn't get because we got paged out. I think the first page was at noon on what is today? Maybe Thursday. So it'd
No,
have been
today's
Tuesday
Thursday. Yeah.
or Thursday.
So
Yeah, so it'd have been
yeah, it
Tuesday when
started
they
like
paged it.
Tuesday at like 11 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah, it was 11 to noon, and we fought fire from 11 to noon until um, 11 a.m. the next day is when we finally got back into town and were allowed to go take a little bit of rest. Well, I didn't rest at all because I had smoke inhalation poisoning. And so when I got home, anything I tried to eat or drink, I just threw up. I couldn't sleep. So I basically just tried to force myself to hydrate for about 4 to 5 hours and then drunk myself enough to where I felt, you know, decent enough to stand upright without falling over because I was super dizzy.
Yeah.
And then went back to fighting fire. I was already back out there fighting fire by 2:30 or 3, I think, and didn't get home until 10 last night. So um, I knew I was going to take today and rest because I got important things to do on Friday.
Last night you weren't so sure that you were going to take today and rest, but
Yeah, if it blew up and it was emergent,
sure.
you know, I would have.
Or, the wind shifted right now and it was headed back to town, I'm sure you'd
Yeah,
go fucking go, but
yeah, yeah. So my fucking camera blurry or what?
yeah, it's been fucking odd. The edges of it almost aren't. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your camera.
It's if I get into it.
You and your red dots too. I don't know what the hell.
Your camera used to do that too. Is
Yeah, I don't know.
that better?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Maybe try clicking on your big light, not your like room light, but the Elgato one. Bro forgot how to do that. You have to either do it from your computer or from your phone, or do that. No, your camera's still kind of goofy. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell to do with it. Is it dirty? I cleaned it off.
I don't think that'd be what's causing this problem. Smoke is very, very bad here today. My house is full of smoke. That's not good. No, you're good, Cass. But yeah, no, currently we are not fully in the clear, but I mean, much less concerning here now than it was.
because our our department really, really focused on stopping the fire from advancing to the east
Yeah.
because we didn't want to advance, cross the road going north out of our town, and then shift south again, and then the town would be in jeopardy again,
Yeah.
So, and if it jumped the road to the east, honestly, the next town to our east would be in jeopardy also.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of different.
We are not, like we said, we are not fully in the clear. We're, not feeling super worried anymore, but
Yeah.
all it takes is a little shift again, and
Honestly, honestly, we got enough personnel now. I'm not really worried about it shifting to the east anymore. So I'm pretty sure we completely stopped this. There's only one town that's really in jeopardy, and that's the one that's north.
yeah, the one pretty far out there.
No, the
The
one that's just north of the town to the west of us.
Oh, really? They're still in
The
danger?
small one. Yeah. Yep. The fire is advancing to the north, and last I heard, it was only like a half a mile, but that's been a day. So.
So they were hoping to send everybody back home there soon. Probably not anytime real soon.
Well, I know my boss because my boss lives there, and he was back home. But he said technically we're supposed to still be evacuated, but
I don't care. I
But
want
he
a
was
good night's
there.
sleep. I was so mad. I went to the bigger town, not the biggest one, but the bigger town to the east of us. You know,
Yeah.
to go to my sister's house, but I was just gonna go get a hotel room because I'd be a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
All of them booked up. All of them.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well,
God
because
damn.
because you got all these probably
Yeah.
federal fighter fighters that are booking them
Yep.
up and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah,
Damn, this sucks.
Galaxy. Last time I heard, your town is in the clear for now. The fire has pretty much been
Basically, you're
squashed
fine for
from
now
moving.
unless some crazy shit changes.
Well, it would it would have to shift way to the. It would have to go west. It would have to burn to the west, and then it would have to shift back south, and then you know it would have to battle through a lake basically in order to get back to your town. So your town's fine, I think. So it's just that town to the north of you still um, that's still in jeopardy, I guess technically. But I know they got a lot of resources and they have a lot of air support now, so they'll basically divert all of those resources to that town. So I'm pretty confident that most everything will be spared town wise. So um, we luckily have it kind of to where the fire's in one spot now instead of it just being everywhere. So we can kind of divert all of our resources and have this fire surrounded and protect structures. And so yeah, so I think for the most part, um, I'm not saying because the fire is not contained in any way, shape, or form,
Right.
but um, it's just it right now. It's just in places where we can't get trucks on them. We can't get can't really get anything on the fire other than air support. So um, um, it's just going to be a long time before we get this fire actually out. Even if we get the fire to where it's just down to hot spots and stuff, because it only takes because we're supposed to have a couple of days in the 105-degree area with wind, so this thing could pop off again, and it's probably going to be something like, okay, we got a handle on it, and then it pops off again, and then air support puts it out again, and you're trying to get all the hot spots before it kicks off again. So there'll be like morning attacks, and then it blows up again. Then you sit there and babysit it. Air support hits it. Then when a nightfall comes, cools off, the RH level, which is relative humidity, pops up, and it makes that fire kind of lay down a little bit. And then you're safe enough to go up there and kind of fight it with your hands. And then when it gets hot, you'll have to back out of there, and it's just going to be a long, drawn out process up in those hills and stuff, trying to get this thing completely out.
Galaxy, we ain't getting rain anytime soon.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's been a daunting, wild couple of days,
Right.
and yeah. But I'm okay. I can go up and keep fighting if I want to, but right now it's all shifted over to federal stuff now. So
Isn't that why you'd want to go make some money?
yeah, I don't know. To me, firefighting is not about making money. I do it to save lives and save houses and save people's livelihoods, and um, I don't ever expect to be paid for anything when it comes to fighting fire. So it's nice when you do get paid. Not lying. Not not knocking getting paid there, but I'm more in it for when we do get paid, our trucks get paid, and us being a small town like we are, we have a really hard time getting funding and and maintaining our trucks because we're always out of money. So having big fires like this is nice for the trucks, I should say, because we get a lot of funding for our trucks. when we have fires like this. So, yeah, hopefully we can get a couple of grants because we're in dire needs of new new trucks because we keep having trucks break down on us and and I hate to be on a fire and like what happened to us last night. We literally our truck the pump blew up on us. Could have been from the heat, I don't know, but pump blew up on us, so we had to go back to the hall and all the only truck we had left that was functionable was a deuce and a half, which is it's like a 1969 military vehicle with a water tank on it, pretty much is what it is. Got 10 tires. They're, you know, they weigh more than I do. All the tires do. So, but honestly, that 1969 is probably one of the most reliable trucks we have. But we try not to use it because it is an antique, you know.
Yeah.
But it was kind of dire situation the last couple nights, so it was pretty easy to validate using it. Let's just say that's amazing that our 1969 deuce and a half was outperforming most of the newer vehicles, most of the newer Wildland, you know, type 2 type 3 trucks. Just
Yeah.
we were in there's a lot of places where it's just real soft dirt and pretty steep climbs, and all these other trucks would get there and they'd stop, they'd turn around because they can't get up the hill. And my assistant chief is like, watch this, and he flips a switch and drops another lever, and he goes, watch this, he puts it in first gear and just whoa, it just goes up the hill, and it didn't even hesitate, didn't even slow it down, just like driving a tank almost. It was crazy.
Bros
Which is nice.
tanking.
It allowed us to get to places that other people couldn't get fire put out. So
Yeah.
And it's really nice because when you have barbed wire fence or any kind of fence that's in your way that you need to get through, you just drive over it.
You just go.
Yeah, it just lays it down and away you go. So
Yeah.
I've had plenty of excitement for the last couple days.
Yeah, you don't need any more. No more sight.
No, I'm good, thanks.
No more. No more.
No.
Yeah. So there was a story you wanted to tell that you didn't last night. Maybe you already did, but there was something really fucked up that you wanted to tell the story about that you just didn't. You wanted to save it for the podcast.
I honestly don't remember.
I mean, you apparently almost died multiple other times than just the one on the highway with the flames on both sides.
Oh, that was, yeah, I kind of brought one of those up. That was being pinched in between the two fires.
Yeah.
I showed you that on that one picture that
you
put up on stream. That mountain was where it originated, and we were in between those two fires.
Yeah. What else we got? What else you know? What else you do? Got to be something.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't do a whole lot.
But W wonder, true, I guess.
Yeah, it's amazing because I get on Facebook and
there's your first mistake.
Well, that's not a mistake. I'm just saying all you see is just fire, 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 fire.
Yeah.
This big fire, this is fire but it's amazing because, a lot of people, you don't see anything about firefighters on social media until there's a big fire like this that pops off.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, It's just it's amazing, and don't get me wrong, the support has been phenomenal. You gotta go down to the IC right now and just see the amount of stuff that people have done. I mean, you walk in there, they're like, "Hey, you have this stuff, or what about this? You need this? Here, just take it. Take it. You know?
Take some shit. Yeah.
But yeah, that just, socks, anything you could think of, chapsticks, socks, food, jerky, just anything you can think of that a firefighter might need, they had an abundance of. So,
Yeah.
and the firefighters are, really grateful for that kind of stuff. And it's,
Sorry, I've already thanked Wonder too many times. I've been too nice to him. If I keep going, he'll think I'm dying.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Been too nice. Got to move on from that.
All fun and games until your shit's about to burn up, huh?
Dude, I did make that joke when I left. I was like, damn, Wonder really is going to get to burn my house down before I burn his. That's incredible.
I mean, technically, my house still would have burned down first before it got to yours, most likely. So
that's fair.
Because if it jumped the canal, then my house is the first one it's going to get to. So the good thing is our house, my parents and I keep it really well maintained. It's real green around it. We keep everything nice and mowed down. And the guys with the tractors decided to show up, and they ran fire lines around our house. So
nice.
I didn't ask them to do that. They just showed up and were like, "Oh, hey, we can do this here," And my dad was excited.
Hey, here's
He's
a
like,
house.
"Oh, I don't have." Well, my dad was excited. He's like, "I don't have to mow that area now."
I don't gotta mow there anymore. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about like your father.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta look at the bright sides. I told my parents to leave, but they stayed.
Dummies.
Mom. So all these firefighters, they just invited them into the house. So they all came in. There was like 12 firefighters just in the house hanging out, watching TV. And
shouldn't they be fighting a fire?
well, they were staging. They were on structure protection on our house, basically, and so they're just sitting there listening to the radio. And if they say it jumped the canal, they were all going to go out and start moving their trucks around to start defending the house, But until then, they had nothing to do but sit in the truck. So Mom's like, "Well, you guys might as well come in the house." And she said, "Yeah, there was a lot of guys that were commenting on the cool animal mounts and stuff that we have in our house." But I'm tired. I slept a long time today, and I'm still wore out.
That's fair.
And I'm inhaling freaking Excedrin right now.
That's how I felt last night, because I, joined you in the being awake the entire time. I wasn't fighting the fire the entire time, but so sleep's annoying. My dog is such a douchebag, though. At least you didn't get woke up every 2 hours all morning because your dog was mad that somebody left.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It honestly feels like I smoked a carton of cigarettes in like half a second right now.
Damn, I want to do that.
Well,
I do. Well, I want to.
My chest is on fire right now. It's not fun.
Well, I don't think my chest would be on fire.
Then the random dizziness, and see, the problem is there were some places off the highway to the west of us that there was these real tall, leafy weeds that they're like a milkweed almost.
Yeah.
And when they burn, it releases a toxin in the air that's actually like extremely poisonous to anything that inhales it.
Nice.
So I'm pretty sure that's why I have smoke inhalation poisoning. Like like this morning when I got up all panicky because I thought it was Friday. Like I almost fell over because I got super dizzy and nauseous, and it's just not a fun time. And then, the dry heaves are the worst.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, Galaxy, I'm sure you're. I seen that the wind was straight out of the north damn near, so you're probably enjoying that smoke right now. My whole room smells like a campfire right now because my window is open with my air conditioning running, and it
Our
just blew
house
smoke.
was very much like that. Right.
Yeah.
You know, when you were telling us to get out, especially because then we had the doors open. Because, yeah, you know, we listened to Wonder. Like, fuck it, we'll leave. Worst that
Mhm.
happens is we come back tomorrow and it's like mildly infuriating. Best that happens is we got like all of our sentimentally bullshit and are like fine. Yeah, cool. We got to rebuild a house, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
like
Well, your house has an advantage though.
yeah,
It's metal on
yeah,
the outside, which is helpful.
yeah,
Doesn't mean it won't burn down,
right,
but it's you go. I mean, you go from a 50-50 to
yeah,
90% chance it won't burn down, even if fire
right.
burns through there.
But it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, it could happen, but like
Yeah.
whatever, we're good. So we like
Yeah.
that night. So it was funny. So I was packing up stuff. We were hooking up our camper because we were just like, fuck it, we'll have that, which
Uh-huh.
smart, I
Yeah.
think, because while he was hooking it up, he'd already packed everything else. So it's like, yeah, if the
Mhm.
fire, gets that close while he's doing that, we can just say fuck it and drive off either way. But
Yeah.
but I
I'm
just
sure it looked pretty wild from your
yeah,
advantage.
it wasn't great. It wasn't great. It
Yeah.
started getting very orange. I was like, this is not.
Advantage. Yeah. It's just.
Dude, there was a right before you texted us like, you guys good? It's like, yeah, we're about to leave, and it's like, yeah, we should go. We need to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah, it just
Yeah.
kept getting like, we need to go.
Yeah. I was glad that you know, our county sheriff and stuff, they were able to get the highways closed off for us, and so then we didn't have to deal with people trying to drive through.
I might have fucked up my car taking a back road home yesterday. I took the wrong back road.
Really?
I ended up on the one that came out down by the river instead of the
Oh.
one. Yeah, I hit a rock. That was just in the middle of the road. So I hope my car's good.
It,
I hope it's good. I don't really know. I was too tired to really care when I got home.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And then I still sat here awake for another like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was nuts, man. Spicy chicken sandwich dinner? No. Oh, by the way, Wonder, we're pretty close to the point. Oh, I do got to go write down that other $5 you just spent actually on the ting.
Uh-huh.
But you're probably gonna have to come eat some food one day too.
Oh boy. Hopefully, within the next couple days, I can actually eat food without wanting to throw it up.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know.
Who would
I
want
like
to
food.
eat food?
I like to keep the food down, so it makes me fat.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know where we'll eat a menu from, but
I lost 4 pounds in 2 days
nice.
because I didn't eat anything for like 40 hours.
So why weren't you eating? Because I know there was a bunch of food donations and people bringing stuff out.
Well,
Arby's is
see, they would-
expensive, so no. Sorry.
so yeah, they were bringing stuff out, but where our crew was, they could not get to us.
Gotcha.
We basically had a bunch of engines out in the middle of nowhere and really rough land, surrounded by fire all night. So they were unable to even get to us. So
Yeah, Arby's is like outside of Five Guys, maybe the most expensive fast food place. Get your
But-
sandwich, fries, and a drink, and it's $25. It's fucking ass. Arby's is one of the places close enough that it might not be completely frozen by the time we got to eat it.
True.
But, yeah. The other big issue with Arby's is we can't mobile order it, and I feel bad sending somebody to order the entire menu or just, like, ordering the entire menu, you know, with a line of people there.
Mm-hmm.
When you can mobile order it, you can order it, you know, an hour ahead and give them time. So, yeah. But, yeah.
Oh. Ow.
Bro, actually, he doesn't live in a house with a smoker.
Yeah, different kind of smoke, though.
I know. Oh.
The smoke in the house slowly kills you. The smoke outside that the fire is burning kills you a lot faster.
Wow.
Getting a phone call.
Uh-oh, who's calling?
No, the girlfriend. I'll just tell her
Tell her you need a few minutes.
Yeah.
She'll be like, didn't you already do that this week? And it's like, yeah, we're getting ahead for next week. So, you know, we can talk to each other on Monday more.
Yeah.
But yeah. So tomorrow or whatever, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day I can get you to come over, we have, I don't know why I'm saying we, but I've got to do arts and crafts at some point. That's going to be fun. Maybe. I've got to do a cooking stream, which I'm hoping to do one night this week, but not exactly sure when I'll be able to finally get to it. Not happening tonight because of D&D. Though I might end up doing kind of one later because I got to go bake the cake that Wonder has to throw in my face tomorrow.
Mm.
You also get to smash an egg on my head. And then we get to play Eat It or Wear It.
Oh.
So, which means you're going to wear some food too.
Mm.
Just pre-warning. She bought some really gross stuff. She had fun. My mother did. I told her we needed stuff for this game. She spent apparently like an hour in the store just picking random shit that she thought was funny. She had a good time with it.
I'm not excited.
Now Wonder's concerned. Oh yeah, because
if anybody would know what gross foods are.
Yeah, and you know, have you ever seen anybody play Eat It or Wear It?
No.
Oh, you get to be blindfolded and you get a sniff, and that's how you decide if you are eating it or wearing it. So. Yeah, so. My answer is probably going to be wear it the entire time just because textures gross me out. And trying to eat.
My answer is probably going to be eat it the entire time because I'm really good at eating things that people think is gross.
What's up, Jedi? Why are you crying? Then hopefully the day I do. So apparently I'm not doing the cooking competition against you. You're just going to come judge it.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What is this? TikTok. Oh no. Jedi, what happened?
Something happened to Jedi? Jedi Joker?
Yeah. Well, not to Jedi technically, but to Gidget. His lizard.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Click the link he sent. She was fine last night. When I woke up, she was gone. That's depressing.
That's how reptiles are, though.
True.
It's, reptiles have a hard time displaying any type of distress.
Right.
If they're ill or anything like that, they just look normal. They just look like they're sleeping or they're just fine, you know.
So oh, that's done. Never mind. So yeah, we got to do eat it or wear it. We got to do the mystery box of food. You've got to throw a cake in my face, smash an egg on my head, and then I don't know. Maybe maybe I'll do one of the roll for foods with you here and let you try it. You want a smoothie or a nacho?
Smoothie sounds good.
Well, it won't. Do you remember the one I had to have last year? Or not last year, but on my birthday?
Yeah.
All I remember is there was ketchup in it. And if we've learned anything from roll for anything, ketchup ruins everything. Including the pizza with marshmallows on it. Ketchup ruins that.
Yeah.
It is wild that the ketchup was the bad part.
Right? Well, at least we know what the best ketchup is. I'm going to phone call for
That's
Cody.
what we used at the time. Uh-oh. Maybe you should answer that one. Might be
I'll
important.
finish and call him back. I'll just let him know I'll call him back right back in a second.
If it's something that important, text me and we'll move.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like if it was something that important, you would have heard the radio. So it's not going to be that type of important.
Yeah.
That type. There are other important things. But got a couple wheel spins to do still. Yeah. Got a lot of stuff to do. Misery and Stargazer stopped their feud for a minute while we were evacuated and sent a dono together.
Oh.
That was fun. It's incredibly smoky outside. I can't go outside. Yeah, you said that earlier, so why did you go outside to go check? Nothing has changed since you said you can't go outside, so why did you try? Goofy. I had to let the puppy in? Nuh-uh. Because people are assholes. I'm headed to work, back in a bit. Heard that, Jedi. But, yeah. Any other fire stories you got? Anything good? Any near-death experiences other than the ones you already said? You know, like you and Cody sharing your final moment look?
Oh, shit, yeah, I forgot about that part on the podcast. Yeah, when that fire was closing in on us on both sides and our escape route was kind of getting less and less likely, it's the come to Jesus look is kind of it's like something that you don't forget, you know. We're parked side by side, each of us are in a different truck, and we're hearing stuff on the radio like, hey, you know, we might not make it out of here on time, we're gonna be trapped maybe, you know. And you hear this stuff on the radio, and you know, you kind of just look at each other. You know, I just looked over him, he looked over me, and it's just like, you know, holy shit. This is real, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also had the other thing I forgot to tell. That was one of the things I just remembered. When we were originally on that mountain fire, and we were trying to come up with a plan, so we were gonna do the little strip burns or whatever.
Yeah.
Before the wind kicked up, this other guy shows up, and he's like in his personal truck. He's on a fire. He's on a fire department, but he shows up in his personal truck, you know, and just tries to take over things and just starts trying to run things, you know, and
Nice.
And trying to tell me to do things. And I'm like, well, you know, you can tell other people what to do, and if they listen, that's on them. But you're not IC, you know.
Right.
The IC was our assistant chief. He was the incident command for that fire. So anyway, we were getting ready to get these strip burns on the way. And we had all the department members were all huddled up, and we went over the plan. Everybody was in agreement. And then this guy shows up and he goes, "Well, I got the stupid idea. You guys are fucking stupid, pretty much, and I wouldn't do that, you know." And I was like, "Who are you?" "Well, I'm such and such, you know." And I'm like, "Well, you're not IC, so thank you for your opinion, but I'm listening to the incident command." And he wasn't even like really paying attention to the plan, because he thought we were going to burn all the way up to the mountain. It's like, no, we're going to make small strip burns. I think we can handle that with all the trucks we have right here. We'll be fine. Plus, we had the right wind for it.
Literally, the correct way to fight a fire is with fire.
Yes. Yeah. And but the problem was that we ended up not even doing it anyway, because the wind really kicked up, and that's when the fire started making its way across the ridge line. We had to, and then it jumped the highway. We had to abandon. That's when Cody and I had to come to Jesus look.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But.
Oh.
Yeah.
That see on the other side type look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Incredible. Isn't salt ideal for fire? No, you're thinking of ghosts. I'm sorry. Salt circles, for ghosts.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, salt really doesn't affect fire much.
Salt's good for ice.
Yeah. We do use the seats, the single engine planes. They use what we call slurry. It's like a red, it's like a thick liquid that just coats everything, and the fire can't really burn it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we use mostly. Is the slurry. We could actually use it on our trucks too. It's a foam. So it's like a foam pretty much. And like our departments we have that foam, and it's usually if we have a car fire or something, or if you like one of those Teslas are on fire, it's really hard to put those batteries out. So this foam stuff basically doesn't usually put it out, but it suppresses it enough that if you need to get somebody out of the vehicle,
right,
you can maybe get that, get it done, without burning yourself, but
yeah. I've always heard that was ideal for cooking fires. Well, because it's just acting as a suppressant. Technically, a lot of different kitchen items can be, because in most kitchen fires, it's going to be like a grease fire. So water isn't going to do shit. You're just trying to cover it to get the oxygen out of it so the fire dies. Yeah. So salt does that. Or if you just have a pan that has a lid that goes on it, just put the lid on it.
Yeah.
Smother it, basically.
Yeah,
and that's why salt is good for that, is because you're just smothering it.
Yeah.
But you're also wasting a lot of salt.
Yeah, I recommend just putting a lid on it.
Yeah. Or just turn it off the heat and move it over and just let it burn. It'll put itself out eventually. Might take a while, but it'll be fine. If you don't, if you genuinely don't have any way to suppress it, just leave it there. Don't be dumb and try to carry it outside, because that's how you spill it and set your fucking house on fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else Wonder?
No, I gotta go make a couple phone calls, so make sure Cody's okay.
Anything? Oh, he didn't reply?
Well, he said it's not super urgent. I was like, I'll call him. I told him I'd call him.
Yeah.
In a few minutes.
Yeah. But all right.
So
Well, I think that'll do it for this. So, yeah. Fire.
mhm,
Or no, fire. There you go. Fire bad.
mhm.
But, all right. I think that'll do it for us. So, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.